Well, welcome to the channel, viewers. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Central Coast, Gosford, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for jumping in. And your relationship is not going the way that it should be, and you're not quite sure why. You can't put your finger on it. You're starting to struggle. You're not getting any sense out of your partner all of a sudden. They still show up, but it's become very minimalized. Nothing's being spoke about, nothing's being resolved where need be. It's mainly just intimacy and sex. You don't know much about their life anymore. They're not telling you anything about what's going on, whereas they used to. No, that's all gone now. They're not doing that anymore. Forget about that. And you're starting to wonder, why is there this void? The void is coming from the resolve that they need to produce, but can't. It's coming from the resolve that your partner needs to produce, and they know it, but they can't, because somebody has got more influence over them than what you have. And you have to start making some very serious decisions fast before too much time gets lost. Because these people will waste your time. They'll use you for sex. And many of you will be thinking, well, isn't that what this is all about? Partly. And that suits people that want casual, exclusive partners. They just come and go and take their sex, and you get yours, and apparently everybody's happy. But in the long run, it's not. In the long run, it causes trauma. Because things can't go on like that. Well, you say, well, yes they can. Well, I'm telling you, no they can't. Because we're not designed to just be a convenience for people. And what we don't want to accept is, while ever we let them, people will use us. And if you don't believe me, examine your relationship and ask yourself, how committed is this person to this relationship? And you'll find they're only committed to themselves. They're not committed to you. They're coming for what they can get. I've had women that have isolated me from their homes and couldn't have cared less if it cost the relationship or not, because I was just a convenience. Though their security and emotional attachments were with their adult sons. And that's not something I should be upset about. It's something that you either accept it or you reject it. You've got to realize these people know how to use people. They're experts at it. They were doing it long before you come along. They'll do it long after you're gone. If you were that important to them, they would have fixed the problem. But they didn't, did they? You were just the source. And why is it that you got taken to the point where you've just gone, I can't stand this anymore? Because they weren't willing to resolve the problem to keep the relationship. That's an infantile person. These are the sort of persons that you want to try and avoid. They just haven't developed properly. And they got no intention of. If you've told someone what the problem is, and it's a rational way of, well, sometimes, okay, you're going to get a third party intrusion into the relationship. It's usually going to be a family member. And that person hasn't tried to resolve the issue. How are you, love? How you going? They haven't tried to resolve the issue. And you scratch your head and you go, I got to get out of here. And you get out. Now, I've gone back just to see, and this is what, maybe you could call me a narcissist in this respect, but I've called off the relationship knowing that it wasn't going to work. I've sat and thought about it for a month or two and gone, well, maybe, you know, now that everybody's had time to stop and think, things could work out. And I've gone back, they've come back, and it never changed anything. Well, that tells you straight up, then this is the way these people are. They're going to stay that way. The relationship's not that important. Their enmeshment is how it will be. And that's it. Then you go, well, then you have a breakup. So you've had 2 breakups, and this is what enmeshment will do. These covert emotional incestual people, or the asexual as well. There doesn't have to be a third party. If you get caught up with an asexual person, they're into themselves, but you can't see that on the surface, but as you're with them, you're noticing they masturbate a lot. That will sabotage you, because these people are more into themselves than what they are the relationship. They don't understand what retention means when it comes to sex, to build your relationship. They're just into whatever they can get. And you got to be aware, you got to be alert. There's a lot of selfish, evil people out there. They don't know they're evil. They don't come across as evil. Evil's a behavioural thing, not a presentation thing. I'll say that again. Evil's relative to behaviour. If you hang around long enough, you see their behaviour. It's not relative to their presentation. That's how people suck you in, by presentation, and people push you away by their behaviour. People suck you in by their presentation and then push you away by their true behaviour. Because initial presentation can hide what's really underneath. And you need to be aware of this. If you see that you are just a source of supply and you're trying to build something significant and relevant, and this person's trying to make their contribution as minimal as possible, or yours, this can work either way. A lot of these people will hold you at a distance. And that seems fantastic, like the less I do, the better it is. No. That makes you lazy. So if the bum falls out of the relationship, they've disabled you. Don't fall for that one either, because you don't want to be disabled. That's what these people are into, trying to ruin. Look, they don't even know they're doing it, but they're ruining everything they touch. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Sometimes you've just got to accept that you've lost out, and that's all there is to it. But your loss is gain, the Bible says, when you do it for wisdom. Jesus said, whoever loses his life will gain it. Sometimes you have to make decisions that look like loss, but ultimately they're gain. Do it. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Bye for now.